Robert DiPierdomenico.
Yeah. You a bowler?
Yeah, well, leg spin. Wasn't coming in with heat.
Oh, because I could run all day because I got that, what's that called? AHDD, whatever it's called.
ADHD.
Yeah, that's the one. At Hawthorn, it was a culture. It was Hawthorn way. I live my day life today in the Hawthorn way. You're a short bowler and you go and speak a language. Fair dinkum.
Righto, welcome to BackChat, powered by Paywise this season, of course, and very privileged to have this man sitting in front of us. He's been a legend, perhaps one of the most decorated players we've ever seen at AFL, VFL level, and then what he's done, what he's done after the
hurry up, will you?
After the footy field.
I've only got 20 minutes here.
I'm not going to go through your highlights.
Just to let me know who it is.
Robert DiPierdomenico.
Yeah.
He's here. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, boys. How are you? Going well?
What a treat.
Boy?
Absolute treat, mate. I'm not going through your highlights. It's too bloody long.
Let's start at game one.
Let's go through game one. No, we actually start with the same question with every guest we have on Dippa.
Tell me.
And I don't know if you would have had this one. Everyone wants to talk about your AFL career, but we asked for your greatest sporting achievement, thanks to TABtouch, by the way, not on the footy field, right? So we know you've been a great footballer, right? One of the most decorated, 5 premierships, 4 night premierships, Brownlow medal. You've done it all. But we want to know your greatest sporting achievement not on the footy field. I was a hurdler back in my day, Dippa. I was an under-9s hurdling champion. Dan was a bowler.
Yeah, 5 for 16 in the grand final in cricket.
You a bowler?
Yeah, well, leg spin. Wasn't coming in with heat.
Oh, sorry. When I looked at you, I thought, a bowler? Come on, man.
So what were you?
Okay,
so
look,
what were
I'm
you,
just I'm going through my head a trophy cabinet, right? And I'm just, hang on, I'm in one room. I'm just going to go to the other room. As a young fella, and thanks for this question. It's a good question. As a young boy growing up with a long name and being an Italian background, I used to have a very bad stutter, like that, right? And now I make a living out of speaking, right? Work that out. So what I did was throw myself into any sport, because in this country, if you play sport, doors open up. And I'm talking about 8 years, 9 years of age, like a primary school, whatever. And, cross country, I was a cross country runner because I could run all day because I got that. What's that called? AHDD, whatever it's called.
ADHD.
Yeah, that's the one. You probably got it yourself, haven't you? But I don't take tablets for it. Right? So as a young kid, I had all this energy and this. So I threw myself into swimming and, backstrokes, breaststroke. I won, medals there and whatever. But cross country for me was a freedom that I could just go. I didn't know how good I was going to be, but I actually won, like state championships and things like that.
Right.
And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just ran. I just ran, and it was just free. I could do what I wanted to do, and I could just prove. I wasn't even proving. I just enjoyed it. It was just my time, Yeah.
Because you started as a backman, right? Well, when you were best on in the 78 grand final as a backman.
Yeah.
So did you transfer that running in aerobic capacity to footy? Because then you turned into a winger.
Even way before your time, we were running like 20 k's on a Monday night. You go to training. Off you go Q Boulevard out of Hawthorn. That was 16 to 18 k's, and then come back in, do your push-ups and sit-ups and all that sort of stuff, and then go out, kick the ball and train.
That's Tuesday, after work. You would have been working.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was only 16, 17 at the time that I went to Hawthorn, and then on a Tuesday night we go in. It was 1-on-1, like whistle, 1-on-1. It was fair dinkum stuff, A young kid playing against, Don Scott and Lee Matthews, training against these guys, Michael Tucker, whatever. Then Wednesdays it was another 20 k's, and then Thursday was short, sharp stuff, and then we didn't play Fridays, of course. We used to go on the piss on Fridays. Because back in those days you could.
Good recovery.
Because the 70s and the 80s, mate, there was no phones, no nothing. The professionalism really came in around about, I reckon, 85, 86, when dietitians come into footy and that sort of stuff. But it was certainly an upbringing. So, but because I could run and just have all that energy, it just allowed me to, just keep pushing through, learn the game and learn about myself and whatever. Because when we walk into a footy club, you don't know how long you're going to be there for. We all come from somewhere, the junior football, whatever. So when I walked into Hawthorn at 16, 17, I didn't know I was going to be there for 19 years of my life. Every day of my life, it's 19 years. So it was a great moment. When you think about it now, but at the time you're not even thinking about it, you're just enjoying it and learning.
People say Dippa on the boundary line and all these things you've done great over your career, but I don't think people would appreciate the fact you're a son of two immigrants that come to the country from Italy. That sport, as you mentioned off the top, is more than going and winning premierships, and we love all that. And you play a bit of a character sometimes, I think. But sport was a way for you to assimilate into.
There's no doubt. Sport allowed me to mix with the Anglo-Saxons in a way, and I put my hand up for everything, swimming, running, jumping, hurdling, you name it. I was doing it, and basketball and all, wherever it was, I was in because I had the energy, and I work out what's going on. I did play a lot of cricket. I played indoor cricket a fair bit. And we won a championship there too.
Yes,
but football was the way that I was going to, stay around. But I don't even know how long I'm going to stay around for. So,
were your parents into footy? Because coming over, like my dad was the same. Came over from Greece in the 50s. So like,
you can't speak other.
I can't speak any. I'm sorry.
You're a short bowler, and you don't speak a language. Fair dinkum. I'm off to Greece in a couple of weeks' time.
But how did you get into footy then?
Okay. Well, footy was one of those things that you played. I was about 12, 13 years of age, and there's a club called East Hawthorn, and they said, come down and play, and you just went amongst you, played under 15s at 12, 13, 14 years of age. And actually I went into the seniors after that because, I was a fairly tall kid, and I was playing full pocket, and I was playing ruck rover and half forward flank and that, and because I could run and whatever, kick a few goals and that. And then that just all grew pretty quickly. And then I got to play, I was playing 3 games a weekend for 3 different clubs. In the mornings I played for under 15s. I was captain of under 15s of a side called North Q. And in the afternoons I played for a side called Q Amateurs in the seniors. And then on Sunday, I play for a side called Bulling Temp under 17s. And that's what, you had that energy one more time, it allowed me to do that. Now, I was playing centre forward, I was kicking, 8, 9, 10 goals a game and whatever. And I was pretty good at it, actually.
Yeah, 240 games at VFL level, but you played 99 reserves games for Hawthorn as well. Yeah. And then you speak of playing 3 games a weekend during your juniors. I mean, you would have played 1,000 games of footy.
Easy. There's no doubt about it. I got reported for 50 of them. So. No, Will, that's so true. Now, back in the days, they say reserve football was as tough as the senior football because you had to make a name, you had to get in. You start with under 19s. I remember my first year, 1975. I walk in, and all of a sudden, I'm in the under 19s. The day I walked in, Rodney Eade and Ian Payton came in at the same time. A couple of boys from Tasmania, we all know their names, and we ended up playing premierships together and become great mates. And but when you walk into a club and there's Peter Crimmins, who's the captain at the time, and he reminds you of Sam Mitchell because tenacious, the number 5, just head down, a real leader. And I remember coming up, he said, if you embrace Hawthorn, Hawthorn embrace you. What does that mean when you're a young kid, and then out you go, and you learn by those one-on-one contests and all those sort of things. And I played 6 under 19 games, and I played a couple of reserve games. I remember my name was in the reserves and that sort of stuff. And then I got a call because Lee Matthews was injured, and I got my first game within about 13, 14 weeks of being at Hawthorn. And John Kennedy Senior was the coach. The man who had that voice. Don't think, just do. I was replacing Lee Matthews, and I remember I got the front page of the paper. It was The Age, it was a huge paper, and Mike Sheen was the journalist at the time, and my name was sort of all over the place then. And then, I Peter Hutch was a full forward at the time. And, and then I played one game and then I went back into the reserves for 2 years, basically.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a lad, I thought because of my energy and my loud voice and whatever, I wasn't, it was different times, but that's where the 99 games come from, from trying to get back into the side, trying to, cement myself. In 1978, I ended up playing every game and playing the grand final. And of course, as you mentioned, got best on ground. And, it's sort of like it just happens so quickly. And then you have injuries, you come back, and then you have reports, you come back. So reserve football is tough.
The Hawthorn culture and people our age, Dippa, right, Dan and I don't know if we appreciate it enough how successful that footy club was. You get drafted in 75.
We're in a zone in those areas.
Because you were from Hawthorn, right? Yeah. So 75, Hawthorn lose the grand final. 76, they win, have a little break in 77, win in 78. A little bit of a gap. I don't know what you boys were doing for that time. But then you went 83 premiers, lost 84, won 85.
No, lost 85.
Sorry, lost 85, won 86, lost 87.
188.
188, 189. No, went there in 90, 191. So in 17 years in the seniors, your team was in 11 grand finals.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's incredible. We speak to some people on here, never played in grand finals.
And when you think about it now, like, we played 7 grand finals in a row. Day grand finals, plus we ended up playing 5 night grand finals in a row. Because back in the day, night football was just as strong as, it was a competition, right?
Right. It was like this summer league? Seriously.
No, it was a summer league. It was during the year. So you play on a Saturday, then you play on a Tuesday night on a night game, then you go play on a Saturday again.
Really?
Yeah. I remember, at Waverley, it was the Escort Cup and it was this cup and that cup, whatever. So we won 5 of those.
When I read that, I just assumed it was like the Ansett preseason cup.
No,
but was it?
No,
like concurrent league?
It was during the year.
Wow.
I remember one night, and it was freezing at Waverley. Like, it was so cold. Did you ever play Waverley?
No.
It was so cold. It was big ground and, it was mud up to your, mud, of course. You guys don't know what mud is.
Where
up
are
to
we?
your ankles or whatever. And I remember the helicopter landing. I think it was Brian Peake.
Peake?
Yeah, because we played
Geelong? No.
That's right.
Was he playing for Geelong?
No, he was playing over in Perth.
Right.
And because it was a national competition. So they came in and I remember I was playing halfback flank on Peake and the fog was there. We just had to wait for this yellow ball to come through. We're staring at this fog and this mist, I think he ended up kicking 4 goals on me, but, so football was like, Tuesday night was just as hard as getting the Saturday night, and the boys loved it. The boys loved it, and it was different times for sure.
I've heard you talk about how 88 and 89 was really special because teams weren't winning back-to-back at that point. If you guys were so good, so much success, why was it so hard to win multiple times in a row?
Well, how hard is it to get to a grand final? Like, we've played 7 in a row.
Yeah.
So, just to play in those grand finals, we want to win all of them, of course. 83, we smashed Essendon. And 84, Essendon, we were 5 goals up at three-quarter time, and Essendon came back and beat us. And
You missed that one.
Yeah, missed.
Right? Did you play in 84?
Yeah, I played in 84. It wasn't my fault. Right? and then 85, they were like a wonderful team. But a lot of things happened. In 1985, they smashed everyone, and they smashed us by nearly 80-odd points in the grand final. And Essendon Hawthorn, we know the rivalry, Sheedy and Alan Jeans and, Danaher's and Timmy Watson, all the boys, Merv Nagel. It was on. If you played 2 games a year, it was on. Loved it. It wasn't 50-metre penalties back in there. I think it was 15, then we went to 25, and it was on, But we learned a lot from that. And plus it just burns in you, especially when, Essendon won it. And respect to them too. Like, we love the club. But, love to hate them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of us after that grand final said, you know what? This is embarrassing, and so we started training about 3 weeks after. So this is it. And a lot of us gave up the alcohol. Not it was we're only young kids, whatever. We're not drinking that much, but we had to give up something that you have to, So we gave us a lot of us. Ed Dermott, myself, Gary Ayres, Peter Curran, Johnny Platten, Dunst, all the boys. We gave up something, and we ended up winning the night premiership. We won, we're all in Victorian teams and all that sort of stuff. We won the day premiership, and when you look back, you're thinking, was it because of that? I think it was just because of that mindset, saying, you know what, we're going to do this, and you mentioned culture before. Like culture's a big name now, but at Hawthorn, it was a culture. It was a Hawthorn way. I live my day life today in the Hawthorn way. Respect people, have integrity, do what you need to do within the community, things like that, and stand up for yourself and things like that. And Hawthorn allowed you to do that, and that was a culture, because in the early days Hawthorn were shit kickers, right? And they didn't win a game for 3 or 4 years, and then John Kennedy. 61, they won their first premiership, and then in 71, the Commandos, Kennedy's Commandos, they called it. It was like this reserve army came in because they were training like commandos and whatever, things that the footballers weren't doing,
Yes.
And then those 70s were great years, and of course all the 80s, and then the club fell apart. In the 90s, they had to bring up again. And then, of course, the boys 2008 and then lifted again. But to win back-to-back was really important for the club and individually as well. Yeah.
Yeah, people would see and look at your time in footy and think, back in the day and party boys, but to hear that you make sacrifices and then it comes off and you go and win. Because I was going to ask that, it was like, how do you what do you put down the success to? Was it the talent you had on the list? You clearly played with some great players.
There's no doubt talent does a big part. I mean, if you're moving a Buccanara from half forward to the middle, or moving Johnny Platten from the middle to the full pocket, or if you're moving Dermott, like Dunst or Chris Langford. I mean, Gary Ayres. I mean, we just go on with this, right?
Yes.
It was the fact that we sort of grew up together. Like a lot of us played nearly 10, 12, 13 years of football together. We were young together. I was a bit older than the boys, but like 1 or 2 years. But we were young together. We had our families together. We had this, this social network. The boys' room, footy trips, and all the things that make up a football team. We loved it, absolutely loved it. But when we played. And when we played hard off the ground, we played hard off the ground. There was an understanding, that we had to do what we had to do. But it wasn't like finger pointing. It wasn't like, what these guys do today. They can have a go at someone about not doing something right. It was more around a beer. Hey, listen, mate, what do you think today? Oh, look, I know.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of structure either in football. It was man on man. Ball bounces in the middle. I'm playing on the wing. I'm on Dougie Hawkins, wherever it is, and I had to beat him.
Yes.
That's the first step.
Yes.
And secondly, try and get a team game together. There was nothing about 3 hours of board movements and
they didn't have the behind the goals footies back in the day.
No. So
1986, you boys win the premiership. You win the Brownlow medal. You're 50-1 pretty much going into that. Was that a surprise?
Big surprise. I would have had some money on myself. For sure. I was never a beautiful player or anything like that. In 1986, I had a great year. I think my best years were 84 and 85. I remember, we all love Lee Matthews, right? Yeah, one of the greatest players, if not the best player ever played. But he's thinking of the game. You hear him on TV and radio. He's just a thinker, And Lee didn't say much. Lee didn't speak. Like John Scott, Lee Matthews, and Michael Tark were one of the best on-ballers,
Yeah.
And they never spoke to each other. Like they didn't hang out with each other. They didn't speak on the ground. They just played footy together, and they were like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Tucky goes on and plays 500,000 games, and Lee Matthews, of course, and then he becomes a great coach. And I remember being a bit of a little smarty. '84, I'm flying, and winning all these awards and shit like that. And I remember Lee Matthews stopping me in the club rooms, Now listen, his voice, Now listen, you're not going to play your best football till you're about 28, right? You're going to right at the moment, but when you're 28, your body will understand what you're doing. And I've been playing at Hawthorn 6-16, right?
Yeah.
At 28, what happens? I win a Brownlow. At 28, win a premiership. And I'm thinking, wow, this sort of stuff. But no, look, I went out there, played, had a great time, but there was one game that the teammate Peter Russo was playing on Greg Williams up in Sydney. And I kicked 4 goals. He keeps Greg Williams down. And, it's a bit of a team effort in a way. But the night I went there was just, I couldn't believe it.
What was it like getting up on stage? Getting the Brownlow.
I was going to say that. It was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
Why?
Well, why? I mean, no Dippa wins a Brownlow. I wasn't the fairest player, and I wasn't, but I was a hard player. But I remember Alan Jean's great coach and mentor, and before a grand final, you get a chance to have kicked the kick around the MCG on a Monday night with your teammates. A bit of circle work and just get that. Get
the feel.
Get the feel. A bit of a bounce and whatever. And we did it like 1,000 times, right? But in '86, even though '84 and '85 we'll burn in '86 because we wanted to get back, and all of a sudden we're in the grand final again.
Yeah,
I remember Alan Jean going, Dermot, Tucky, Platts, Dippa, over here. Now, if I see your face on TV, if I read about you, if I hear you on the bloody radio, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you some hooly-dooly, He used to love the hooly-dooly, right? I think, why not? Anyway, I go to the Brown
that
night, and I'm all dressed up, ready to go, and I ride a little bit later, and everyone's going, geez, you're in front of you, mate. I'm going, oh yeah, and you start thinking about the games that you're coming up. And I shared with Greg shared with me, Williams, that is, on 17 votes. It's the lowest votes of all time, right? And I joint win the Brownlow. And I'm thinking, oh no, Gingy's going to hate me. He's going to hate
Don't do the media.
So I go up on stage, right? And of course, being the sort of character I am, Peter Landy was going on. I said, mate, I just came here for the free feed. And everyone was laughing. And I look at Jeansy and he's going, oh, my bloody cat. He's bloody won the bloody Brownlow of all things. Of course, I've got helicopters over my house. I've got front page of every paper. But you know what? The next day, a Tuesday night training before a grand final, 10,000 people at training, and I remember Jeansy, there's Peter Nice, and there's all these great players. There's everybody there. And they said, now listen, what you done last night was bloody terrific for the footy club, because I was really Hawthorn's first Brownlow medalist, right? And but now you got responsibilities of being a Brownlow medalist. More responsibilities. Like what does that mean? But I'll tell you what that means. When you walk into a 7-Eleven or in one of those sort of shops around here, or anywhere, and prior to the Brownlow, Mum or Dad would say, sort of stay away from him, he's a bit hard and tough or whatever. Winning the Brownlow, can I have a photo? And it was like a shift like that, and I didn't go to the Brownlow for a couple of years. I was really embarrassed about it. All right, but now I'm a cheerleader for the Brownlow. I make sure the Brownlow. I ring up Brownlow medalists. Make sure you come along. We need you to get there. We need to have, because there's only 70 odd Brownlow medalists, right? And I want the judge and these kids to go to the Brownlow, because the respect they get from the ground, for the game, and the Hall of Fame, just last week was a Hall of Fame night, and that was just it's the best football night of all time. I've got, of course, my great mate Jason got, the legend status, and it's a great night. Caught up with Glendinning and all the boys and that you played against, got away with, got to know with, got their families with, Rob Wiley and all these sort of guys, and because we all went to Ireland together, Glendinning, Brad Hardy, Rob Wiley, there's a few others there. and Johnny Platten and all the boys. We went to Ireland and Dermot. We went to Ireland in 1984 together as a
First island trip.
After the Irish trips,
First one.
The first one. And
that would have been quiet.
We went there for 4 weeks. Can you imagine what it was like for 4 weeks? It was. But you meet these people, and they're friends for life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bloody brilliant.
It is.
Around that time, I'm going to ask a selfish one because I'm a West Coast fan. Around that time, West Coast entered the comp.
Yeah.
What was that like?
87.
Yeah, what was that like when a team on the other side of the country joins the VFL?
Well, I'll let you a little secret. After my first premiership in 1978, and then 1983, Ron Alexander was coaching East Fremantle. And at the time, I thought, I just got married at 20. I got married at 21. And you think to yourself, okay, you got to start thinking about your family. Because money wasn't around the place, right, So I was asked to come over. See if I'd be interested in coming over here. It was a bit of a secret that the Eagles were sort of like coming in.
Right.
An idea of the Eagles coming in. In 83, I was 22, 23, whatever, and I was working as a salesman, and the company I was working for, Jack Paper, they wanted to set up in Perth, and I said, why don't you go over to Perth and be the state manager and play the footy over there. So I came over and they took me to Cicerello's. They gave me the best prawns and the best things. My wife and I there, and Ron's there, but they put us up at the raffles. The back of the day,
yeah,
that would have been the best night spot in town.
Well, you walk into town there. I mean, like this is a hillbilly. This is like gunslingers and everything, and then I was about to sign.
So they're trying to recruit. They were trying to recruit you effectively.
Yeah. Wow.
No, well, for East Fremantle, right?
Yeah.
And I was about to sign. I thought, okay, I've won a couple of premierships, and I'm 23. I can set up this business or whatever. Then the footy club rang me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "He goes, no." And of course, go back, win another 5 premierships or whatever. But it was interesting because everything was new. The new footy team coming over. I remember. Chris Mainwaring played his first game with me.
Right.
Really?
And good-looking kid, Good-looking kid.
Mm.
And we played at the Wacker. Of all places, we played at the Wacker. Because football wasn't played at the Wacker a fair bit. I'd never been on the Wacker. Well, you as a bowler, you might have. But,
a few times.
Yeah, a few times, oh, wow, what a ground, And I remember Chris Mainwaring, and I'm on the wing, and Chris is over there, and he's about 3 or 4 metres away from me. I'm going, you all right, mate? Yeah, Dippa, I'm good, mate, yeah. Oh, you know my name? Well, if you get any close, I'll smash that pretty face of yours in, I remember he kicked the first 2 goals of the game.
Who, he did?
Yeah. And the runner came after me. He said, coming off. I said, go ask the coach if he's talking to me. He said, yeah, you're coming off, right? That was Alan Joyce at the time. And I was fuming. I get back on the ground he ended up kicking 4 goals or something, and we become the best friends of that day. From that day onwards, we become really great mates, with Maney. And when I get to Perth, we used to hang out, and a lot younger than me, but I miss him dearly because he's he was one of the greats, of course. And then with Matera, I caught Matera one day. I said, "Don't let me catch you again." He goes, "You never will, Dipper." I actually fell. I know you did. I know you did. And when we catch up, our grand final week in the Hall of Fame or whatever, we always talk about that. It's quite funny, but it was exciting. We went on a plane trip, come over here. Back in the days, it was Gobbles and the hippie club.
Mouse would have had drink cards for days for you.
We had drink cards. Yeah, we're rock stars, Yeah. I remember we were staying at the Height, and back in the day, you got a card that you actually put up against this light, and it turned green and opened the door. How cool is this place?
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this a bit selfish as well, thanks to you, because I'm from Geelong, as you know, close to a few of our mates. We've got some mutual friends, you and I, Dippa, and my brother being one of those big Geelong family, right? We used to just love going and watching the footy together. And although I was born in 89, the 1989 grand final goes down as one of the greats of all time. 2018 grand final was pretty good as well, West Coast Collingwood, but 89 I think just pips it, given how much of a shootout it was, but the physicality involved in that. I've got some good links to that. I know you do, given you played in the game. Buddha Hocking was my junior coach at the Geelong Falcons, so you had a decent incident with him on the day. And the big hit from Gary Ablett Senior, which every Geelong kid in Geelong would look up to. Recollections of that day? I mean, it's fair enough to say that's the greatest grand final ever be played.
Well, people say that. It's interesting how many people. It'd be interesting to see.
You can stand up and move it if you want, mate.
That's all right. That's good.
Yeah, look, I've had so many people say, I was at that game. I reckon there'd be 1 million people at that game, right?
Correct.
And you're thinking, right, okay, yeah. But no one knew what was happening to anybody in that game, right? Because everyone, I kept it quiet. I mean, Dermot gets smashed in the first seconds of the game.
Yeah.
89 was an important game because it's talking about back-to-back. We've been there. We haven't had back-to-back before. This is our 7th day grand final in a row, and you're right about, how hard it is just to play a grand final, but to win them, but just to get that back-to-back. And the great sides did it. The Richmonds and Carltons and Collingwoods back in the day, Melbournes, and Hawthorn was important for us. So we go into that game, and Geelong just came at us. They just wanted to, throw their weight around, and Yates, you got Dermot, and we love that.
Yeah, and that was the first bounce of the day.
Bang. Yates gone, you know what? I'm going to get him, because Dermot fixed him up a few times, right? So he ran off the line. But the best thing about it, he did what he was going to do, and good on him. We love that. You can say it, but do it, you know?
Yeah.
And face the consequences in and out, you know what I mean?
You broke Buddha's jaw?
Well, I'll get to that, but, there's 3 words you don't want to hear in footy field. It's yours, Dippa, right? Because that ball's in the air. We all know we can't look left, right, whatever.
Yes.
And it's yours, Dippa. And I know Gary's coming because he's telling me. And don't forget, Gary was at Hawthorn, and we played a lot of football together, and his brothers as well. And he was a hard man. You know how hard he was, just strongly built. And I knew my ribs had been broken, but then as the game went on, I punched him in the lung because Buddha kept hitting me.
You can swear, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Kept hitting me, and I said to him, I'm going to fix you up. And one time I got 2 guys in the headlock abusing Bruns because they were at me. And then if I let those 2 guys go, I'd fall to the ground. But Buddha had my hair, and he's punching my head in and whatever. And anyway, so I ended up, he was on the boundary. The ball was sort of bounced in front of him, as if an umpire was going to bounce the ball to start the game. And I thought, oh, here we go. Bang. Oh, did I give him a beauty? And at that time, I wasn't talking that well because I didn't realise what was going on. But because of my broken ribs punching along, my voice was going like this. Oh, I told you going to get you. Come on, get up. Come on. Get up. And Buddha, tough nut.
Sound like Lee Matthews.
Yeah, and he stood up and just spat a tooth out, his jaws down the air, and told you I'm going to get you, And the umpire said, I'm reporting you. What for? What was that for? And then the whole game was just, we all, another 2 minutes, 5 minutes, who knows? We could have won or lost, whatever. But I find myself throwing myself on the ball as the siren goes, and Michael Tuck, my captain's got a split webbing. His blood's pouring out, and he's just grabbing and squeezing the last bit of breath I had. And I ended up going to hospital, and the story goes from there. But will I do it again? I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
You almost died.
I did, yeah.
And
well, it's about like Petrarca.
That's the thing. So we look ahead right now, and there's a lot of carry on in the media for mine. And I think I've got similar attitudes to you that you would look back on that, and that's how footy goes. It's a hard game.
Well, back in the day, it was, and you didn't come off the ground. It was 1-on-1. We played the whole day on the ground. You didn't come off every 10, 15 minutes, or whatever. It was, if you drank water, you were weak. Do you know what I mean? It was that culture that football was around. It was a man's game. But footy today is a brutal game. It still is a brutal game. It's not an easy game. Physically, mentally, back into packs. I mean, what Petrarca's gone through, he's got to come back. And I know he's got to come and get that confidence. The confidence of not running forward, the confidence of running back, the confidence of getting tackled. I've also had 2 broken sternums as well. So, just that tackling side of things, it took me a while to get back into the team because I didn't have that confidence, and it's a brutal game. And but will I do it again? I'll do it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I will do it tomorrow because you want to be out there with your mates, win, lose, or draw. And that doesn't last long. We all know. Actually, someone said the other day, it's 50 years that I've been involved in football this year. Wow. 50 years. I can't even say that. As a player in 1975, through to commentating, as with Auskick and in game development and all that sort of. That's 50 years I've been involved in the game. I'm thinking, wow, where's that gone? I remember Alan Jeans the first time he used it. Now listen, boys, I want you to fill your boots. What does that mean? Fill your boots, because time will catch up. Yeah, fill your boots. Yeah,
it's good. What would Dippa look like in today's game? Like aside from like the hard hitting and stuff, like just the way that the game's changed, how do you think you'd go?
Put prime Dippa into 2024, playing today, West Coast Hawthorn.
I would love to think that I'd be able to play like Petrarca. I love the way he played. I've told him this 1,000 times too. You remind me of me because you run, you get involved, you're just a leader. You got your head down, you get everybody else involved, whatever.
He's hard.
Well, and hard, yeah. The thing is about today's football is the fact that you train the way you play, right? Okay, now, can the players today go back into those times when they can get hit behind the head, shipping it off the ball, when you got your head over the ball, you get your hit kicked off and whatever. It's a different time. A good game today is a bloody good game. There's also, not every team's up there at the moment, but they're hard hitting, a brutal game, and these players today, they're unbelievable, unbelievable. And I'm surprised that when you think about, the concussion that we're going through, the concussion rules that we're going through, it affects a lot of my ex-teammates and people who play in my era. I was nuts anyway, but but the just the whole footy dynamics. I'm looking forward to watching these guys play, and I've seen the best. I've played with the best and commentated the Herds and the Careys and the main wearers, the materials. I've seen them all, and it's just great to be able to be part of this game. And today we've got new champions coming through, and because I've been involved in football, and I've known these kids, since 14 years of age. I've been the AIS, I've been all that sort of stuff. So I know their parents, I know what they're going through. And as you know, football doesn't last forever. You do one knee, one guy, where do you come back from? But today's football, I reckon I'd have the attitude that I could make it. Yeah, one, because I could run, really important.
You just have to stay out of the MRO, Dipper.
Well, but those rules are now, right?
Yeah, true.
Of course. Yeah, you stay out of it. Hey, don't forget, I got hit the other side as well. Yes, right.
Correct.
But how good would it be if you could do that? Like, was it the Rocky movie when they put out that game? They put all the stats in of was it Mr. T at the time or
like Apollo Creed
Apollo Creed. Yeah. And they put stats in who would win, and then they press a button. There's like a pretend
Simulates
fight,
it.
whatever. I would love to do that.
That's actually that might be a good little content idea. I don't mind that at all, Dipper. Yeah. Hey, where did the Mo Perm combo that you've been rolling for a decent amount of time, Dipper? How does that start? Is that
okay?
Also, just to let you know, I spent about half an hour, good use of my time on the internet before trying to find a photo of you without a moustache.
Right.
I don't think it exists.
No, it does exist, but there's a song written about me called I'm DiPierdomenico. You find on that. Actually, I've got another song for you. I'll give an exclusive.
Okay. Exclusive would be nice.
Yeah, exclusive. But It's funny though because there was a show on TV called Miami Heat.
Yep.
With a guy called Don Johnson and I forgot the other gentleman's name. And he had this Arthur 5 look. And I thought, yeah, I might go the Arthur 5 look. I'm not a hairy man. I know that I look hairy, but I'm not a hairy man. And it takes me a while. But so I had this Arthur 5 look and then a beard came out of it. And I thought, okay. Trimmed the beard back and then I kept the mo. And the mo was sort of there. I used to go to the hairdressers every Saturday morning. I go there 7 o'clock, get a shave, make sure it looked good and whatever. Yeah, every Saturday morning. It was a bit of a ritual. Yes. And the barber was there every Saturday morning, and then I kept this mo, and then the mo's sort of become part of me now, when I can't shave it off because it makes me a lot of money. Makes me a lot of money, but the other side of it gets me in a lot of trouble too. Does this mo get me in trouble?
Why?
Well, you walk into a place and they go, hey. And you go, yeah, go, mate, how you going, all right, Love you, mate. Yeah, love you too, buddy. Yeah, love you. Yeah. You're one of the best, you're one of the best. Thanks, mate. You don't have to pump me up. I'm fine, I just love what you did, I go, oh, yeah, You're a beauty, Merv. Okay, yeah, whatever. And then I go, Merv Hughes, like, fat Higgum? Like, really? Anyway, and then people come up. Remember Merv used to do those exercises?
Oh, yeah.
People stand in front of me do these exercises, right? And they go, I love you so much. And Merv gets me. Merv, Merv tells a story that he's at a nightclub and there's a lineup, and they go, hey, Dippa, it's all right, mate, come up here, but he's rude to people. He goes,
Yeah.
But this mo, it's sort of it's part of my life now. Yeah.
What's the exclusive you got for us?
Well, there's a new little song coming out shortly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A Dipper song.
Well, it's a song about. I'll play it for you later on if you like. But
from you, did you made it?
No, I didn't make it.
It's not a singer.
Doesn't matter who made it. Someone has written a song because I don't know if you're used to this, boys, but a lot of people want selfies, right?
Yeah. No, not used to it.
If I don't do 50 selfies a day, it's not a good day, right? Like fair dinkum.
Yeah.
I know what today's all about because I know today there's 50 selfies somewhere, and I've got used to it. But what I don't like is when people come up and just throw a phone in front of you.
Yeah.
Hey, this is not for me. I said, I don't really care who's it for. But don't be rude. You can ask me. I'm happy to do it.
Yep.
But people shove,
Is it hard being Dipper the brand?
It's not hard.
Dipper the man and Dipper the brand's a little bit different.
Yeah, well, Dipper the brand. I use my brand Dipper to make a living. This is what I do. I'm a business. This is who I am, and I'm very lucky to be involved with a lot of things, and especially football's opened up somebody, And great mate of ours, Dave Matthews, he's really helped me, nurture myself, my brand. He's always a thinker. He's always, thinking of something and giving you the credit for it and that sort of stuff. But we've had some great times together, as you know. But
he told me that you're the Auskick ambassador and you're touring the country and getting the great name of footy out around Australia.
Yeah.
And you'd done a couple of chats and you sort of thought, everyone just wants to talk about Hawthorn and the premierships and what else can I do? And
I know where you're going.
He gave you a little challenge about Beatles songs.
Because he heard that David Beckham's the same thing during the World Cup, David Beckham, captain of England, was asked the same questions or whatever, and you get a bit bored with it. Not bored, but it just runs off your mouth.
Yep.
And, so Aussie Auskick ambassador and Dave Matthews, who's now the CEO of the Giants, he got me in to help build the brand of AFL, especially up the, in Sydney and Brisbane and so. And I thought, wow, this is good, And we sat down one night in Coffs Harbour on a tablecloth and we put a map of Australia, and we said, right, we want to take this country over. How are we going to do it? And we still got that tablecloth. There were drawings here, and there's the red wine there, and all that sort of stuff. But it worked. It absolutely worked. We've got to get this brand out. Dippa is the brand, and this is what it's been able to do. And I worked hard for it too, because I was prepared to travel and travel and travel. There's 3,500 Aussies centres. I reckon I've been to every one of them. Branding, making sure the mothers love our game, because it's not the dads that aren't going to push them to football, it's mums out there. Hello, mums, we need you. We need you to believe our game is good for your people, for your children. And now the girls are getting involved, Girls football was talked about 25 years ago through Dave Matthews and a few of the guys at the AFL. 25 years ago, now 10 years in, there's a path. These AISs, Australian Institute of Sport, the top 40 players went to Europe and all those sort of. I was part of it, of course. I was the cheerleader, but they learned at Bontempelli's and these type of stringers and these type of players. Brody Holland and a big Brody Ruckman.
Grundy.
Yeah, Grundy. These guys, I met them at 15, 16, went over to Europe and we took them to Gallipoli, understand what Australia's all about and what you're playing for and who we are. What a great initiative, So
didn't you roll around trying to squeeze in as many Beatles songs as you possibly could?
So what happened, all these interviews, and Dave Becker go, look, mate, we've got another 10 interviews to do over the next 3 or 4 days. So why don't we have a bit of a competition? How many Beatles names can you get into a story in the paper or the news, right?
Right.
And every one, I'll give you a slab of beer. I said, okay, no worries at all. So Dippa, enjoying what you do? I'm loving it. I could do this until I'm 64, unbelievable. I feel like sometimes I've come in over a yellow submarine somewhere and I've just landed and there's this new revolution, and all these, but I love working, 8 days a week, Come out in the papers. So good. I'm still drinking the slabs at home, But all these little things that keep you fresh, Yeah.
It'd be remiss of me not to speak about your boundary riding. You turn your footy career, post-footy, especially straight out. You were the man. You were the boundary in your trench coat down there. You'd be freezing your ass off, or you'd be in the rain, or you'd be trying to pump someone up and they wouldn't be matching your energy. I saw a clip this morning. Yeah. Some poor bloke at the Gabba, you tried to get him up and about. But boundary riding, that's what boundary riding is, right? All the emotions.
Oh, all the emotions. The thing about the boundary riding was the fact that the footy show was coming on, and I retired in 91 after the grand final, when you boys, when Hawthorn beat the Eagles.
Yep.
I didn't play in that game. So 1992, I had a bit of a time off, and then 93, the footy show was coming on, and they wanted me to go on the footy show, and I said, okay. And then the manager said, listen, we had managers back then. We just started to get managers. So, look, Channel 7 want to do this thing called the boundary ride. They want you to bring the game to the people at home. I thought, look, I could do that, So I went to Channel 7 and really good. But they don't teach you anything. They didn't give you a microphone or a lesson or where to look at a camera or whatever. They just gave you a microphone. And back in the day, was the fact that we had to go and knock on doors to find out who's in the side, who's out of the side. Yeah, not like now, everyone knows what's going on and whatever. I remember Lee Matthews was coaching Collingwood, and I thought, I'm the great man. I played with him 10 years, and the door jars open. Can you tell Lee Matthews that Dippa's here? So
Mrs. Matthews opened the door.
And he come back, he does want to talk to you. I thought, I've got a job to do. Come on, man. Anyway, so I decided that I thought, I'll try and be a journo. So that didn't work. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. Anyway, I had so much fun. But I was doing 3 games a weekend.
Right.
MCG Friday nights. Either Sydney or Brisbane on a Saturday, or Sydney or Brisbane on a Sunday. I did that for nearly 15 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of football. 87 games a year plus finals. But what I loved about the players respected me. But don't forget, Sheedy, Peter Swab, Kenny Judge, all these sort of guys, they were coaches. Sheedy, never trusted me because I played for Hawthorn, and I always try and play a joke on me to see if I would run and go, "Hey, listen, Kenny, James Hughes not playing today." But my integrity was always there. I never let anything out. But I would find out all these bits and pieces. I had the best time ever, and I used to scream at play because I used to have a bit of a bet on the footy back in the day when I was allowed to on the boundary rider. And
Get a touch.
Yeah. Well, no, Will, it was more than that. I had a pretty good year with Jared Healy and myself. We travelled together and we thought, we'll have a little punt on the side. Something new. So put a couple of bucks in together, and we had a really good year. We collected some money. Anyway, we had let's just say over $1,000 left in the kitty. And Eagles, North Melbourne were playing the Crows, and we got 8-1 if the Crows won by more than 21 points. Anyway, the game starts, and thanks very much, Bruce and Dennis and all the guys I work with. Love them. We've travelled the world together, and they know I've had a bet and that sort of stuff, and of course at half time, North are up by 20 points, right? And Rashudo's walking past because he's got it on crazy. Like, "Hey, Mark, you go tell those blokes to lift." Mate, come on, mate. Yeah. You go, "Right, I'll tell them, Dip." "No, you tell them. You make sure you tell those bloody blokes of yours they're just pathetic." And then when they cross down to me, I'm fuming, Let's cross down to Dippa. "Oh, Bruce, I can't believe this game. Like, really." And then, of course, you get Darren Jarman goes from half-back to half-forward and kicks 5 goals. And then at the end, they win by 23 points. I won a few dollars, right? Or during I won a few dollars. And if you watch the replay, Malcolm Blight comes down and shakes my head on the boundary because he knows I've had a punt, right? I emceed their best and fairest about a week later, and we actually gave him a couple of dollars to go on a footy trip, But I've had 1,000 of those stories.
Bloody brilliant.
I got 1,000,000 of those stories.
Hey, I would sit here all day and bloody listen to you, but we need to get you back out the door because you got some engagements to get to as well. Before we leave you, a couple of social media questions for you, Dippa. So Dippa was the boundary. Social media is social media. We've got social media. Yeah, I thought you might like that.
I like that, yeah.
Couple of questions from the people, Dippa. You've heard enough from Dan and I.
Yeah.
So we're going to chuck a couple at you.
Your name is Dan, was it?
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Dan doesn't have his own segment yet, but he's going to read these ones out. Let's go.
This is from Huntsy_06. Any funny Peter Crimmins stories?
Well, I got to know Peter when I was at 16 or so. Peter wasn't a funny guy, but Peter Crimmins, our medal is named after Peter Crimmins. He was tenacious. He was a leader, an absolute leader of the club, and unfortunately passed on at the wrong time.
Saxon.
Saxon Sounders, how much does Derm carry on about the 89 grand final injury?
No one talks about Dipper breaking his ribs and almost, don't
No, it's all about Dermot. It always has been about Dermot, I think he sits in the shower, remember that Tom Jones song, it's not unusual to be loved by everyone. Look, Dermot's an absolute character. What a champion player. What a great mate as well. And, he's an absolute ripper.
This is from Bings_Stinger. What rule do you think the AFL should change?
Not change, but I think they've just got to blow that whistle if it's 9 yards or 8 yards. It's got to be 10 yards.
Yes.
So or 10 metres. It's got to be 10 metres. Because the little short kicks these days, they're not 10 metres.
Yes.
And if it's play on, it's play on. And then it doesn't slow the game down, whatever. But the hole in the ball rule, we all know that one.
Yep.
Back in our day, you got the ball, you got tackled, hole in the ball. Done. Move on. Let's move.
No prior opportunity.
No,
or that.
8 times around, flip upside down and get the handball out.
Yeah.
All right, this last one's from the Eggman. How does Dipper like his eggs? Sincerely, the Eggman.
I am an egg connoisseur.
Oh,
bullshit.
Great.
I'm an egg connoisseur.
Talk to us.
I love my eggs poached.
Yep.
But it has to be soft in the middle, right? And really sort of hard at the outside. And I practice it. It is hard work. Do you put vinegar in the saucepan when you spin it? Do you just steam the water? It's so hard that I just go to McDonald's and have it.
Dippa, mate, we appreciate your time today. Have you had fun?
I had a great time. No, thank you. It's always nice to be able to talk footy. It's a great game, and it's been great for me. And if anyone can get to their sport they love and enjoy what they do, you boys are great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Almost.
Just about.
Almost.
I want to play that song for you.
BackChat _. We're going to get some of that, I reckon, a little bit later. Big thank you to our sponsors, Paywise, ID Athletic, Whippersnapper Whisky. That might be of your interest, maybe Dippa. Shelter Brewing Co. down in Bustleton. Mamba Digital, TABtouch, Leadable Precinct. Get everything you need at backchatstudios.com.au.
So you got enough that I can send you an invoice for this?
You send us an invoice for
someone who's doing... Hey, listen, someone's making money and it ain't me.
We'll have a chat about that after you play the song. Dippa, thanks, mate.
Pleasure.